Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, where we help you speak English confidently and naturally. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. Hi, everyone. Today we have a very exciting topic: how to train your brain to speak in English. If you've ever struggled to speak English fluently or felt stuck translating in your head, this episode is just for you.
Exactly. Many learners focus only on memorizing words or grammar, but the real key is training your brain to think in English. Once your brain is trained, speaking becomes much easier and more natural.
Yes, and don't worry. We'll give you practical tips and simple exercises that you can start using today. By the end of this episode, you'll know how to make your brain an English-speaking brain.
So get ready, grab a notebook if you like, and let's dive into the first step: understanding why your brain needs training for English. So, Julia, before we start practicing English, let's talk about why our brain actually needs training to speak a new language. Many learners think it's just about memorizing words, but that's not enough.
Exactly, Jason. Our brain learns languages a bit like a muscle. If you don't exercise it regularly, it doesn't get stronger. So even if you know a lot of words, speaking them naturally becomes difficult if your brain isn't used to thinking in English.
Right. And here's an interesting fact. When you first start learning, your brain translates everything from your native language into English. This slows you down and makes speaking feel hard. But if you train your brain, it starts thinking in English directly, and suddenly speaking feels easier and more natural.
Yes, and training your brain isn't just about practicing speaking. It's about listening, reading, imagining, and even thinking in English. Every little exercise you do strengthens the pathways in your brain that help you produce English naturally.
Exactly, Julia. It's like building a highway in your brain. At first, it's small and slow, but with practice, it becomes a fast road where English words flow easily.
So, in simple words, if you want to speak English confidently, you need to train your brain daily. And today, we'll show you exactly how to do that with easy, practical steps.
Awesome! Let's move on to the first step: immersing yourself in English every day. All right, Julia, now that we understand why the brain needs training, let's talk about the first practical step: immersing yourself in English every day.
Yes, immersion is one of the fastest ways to train your brain. The more English you hear, read, and see daily, the more your brain starts thinking in English automatically.
Exactly. And immersion doesn't mean you have to move to an English-speaking country. You can start right at home. Listen to English podcasts, watch English TV shows or YouTube videos, and even follow social media accounts in English.
I love that tip. Another way is to label things around your house in English. For example, put a note on the door, mirror, or refrigerator. This helps your brain connect words with objects naturally.
Also, try reading simple English articles or books for a few minutes every day. Even short reading sessions build vocabulary and help your brain get used to English patterns.
And don't forget speaking out loud while you immerse yourself. Repeat sentences from podcasts or TV shows. Hearing yourself speak in English strengthens the brain's speaking pathways.
Exactly. So the key is daily exposure. Listen, read, see, and speak English as much as possible. Even 10 to 15 minutes consistently makes a huge difference over time.
Absolutely. Small, consistent steps lead to big results. Next, we'll discuss a powerful habit that many learners struggle with: thinking in English instead of translating.
All right, Julia, we've talked about immersion. Now let's discuss one of the biggest challenges for English learners: the habit of translating from your native language.
Yes, so many learners think in their first language and then try to translate words or sentences into English. This slows you down and often leads to mistakes.
Exactly. For example, if you want to say, "I am going to the store," some learners might first think in their language and then try to translate word by word. This can make speaking feel awkward or slow.
The solution? Start training your brain to think directly in English. Begin with simple sentences about your day. For example, while making breakfast, think I am boiling water or I am eating an egg. No translation needed.
And you can also use your imagination. Describe what you see around you in English. If you're walking outside, mentally say, "The sun is shining. The birds are flying. People are walking fast."
Yes. Over time, this habit trains your brain to respond in English automatically, making speaking much faster and more natural.
Exactly. Remember, the goal is not perfect grammar at first. It's fluency and thinking in English. Grammar will improve naturally as your brain gets used to English patterns.
Perfect. And now that our brain is starting to think in English, the next step is training our listening skills to boost speaking.
All right, Julia, we've talked about thinking in English. Now let's move on to another super important step: training your listening skills.
Yes, listening is the foundation of speaking. If your brain can understand English quickly, speaking becomes much easier and more natural.
Exactly. Many learners focus only on speaking, but listening trains your brain to recognize words, phrases, and natural sentence patterns. The more you listen, the faster your brain responds when you speak.
And there's a great technique called active listening. This means not just hearing English, but really paying attention. For example, listen to a podcast or a short video and try to repeat what you hear.
Yes! Another tip is to listen to English in small chunks. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Focus on the main words, intonation, and rhythm. Gradually, your brain starts recognizing patterns naturally.
Also, try shadowing. Repeat what the speaker says immediately, matching their tone and speed. It's like training your brain and mouth together to speak English like a native.
Exactly. By training your listening, your brain becomes faster at processing English, and speaking becomes much easier.
Perfect. And speaking of shadowing, our next step is exactly that: learning how to speak like native speakers using the shadowing technique.
All right, Julia. Now we're going to talk about one of my favorite techniques: shadowing. This is a powerful way to train your brain and mouth to speak like native speakers.
Yes, shadowing is simple in idea but very effective. You listen to a native speaker and immediately repeat what they say, trying to match their tone, rhythm, and speed.
Exactly. For example, listen to a short sentence from a podcast, "I'm going to the market." You immediately repeat it out loud, copying how the speaker says it.
And don't worry if you can't match it perfectly at first. The key is consistency. Doing this for even 5 to 10 minutes a day trains your brain to think in English and your mouth to form words naturally.
Another tip is to choose sentences or short dialogues that you like. It makes practice fun and helps your brain remember the patterns better.
Yes, and over time, you'll notice your speaking becomes smoother, your pronunciation improves, and your brain automatically picks up natural English rhythm.
Exactly. Shadowing is like giving your brain and mouth a workout. They start working together in perfect harmony.
Awesome! And now that we know how to shadow, our next step is using visualization and imagination to speak in English.
All right, Julia. Now let's talk about another powerful way to train your brain. Visualization and imagination.
Yes! Visualization is imagining scenarios in your mind and describing them in English. It's like practicing conversations without needing a real partner.
Exactly. For example, imagine you're at a cafe. In your mind, think I am ordering a coffee. I want a latte, please. Thank you. Say it out loud if you can.
Or imagine talking to a friend about your day. I went to the park, I saw many birds, I enjoyed the sunshine. Visualizing everyday situations helps your brain practice English naturally.
Yes. The brain doesn't always know the difference between real and imagined conversations. So when you imagine speaking, your brain learns just like it's a real situation.
And the best part is, you can do this anywhere, while walking, cooking, or even before sleeping. Just imagine a scenario and speak in English, even if it's just inside your head at first.
Exactly. Over time, visualization strengthens your brain's ability to think and respond in English, making real conversations much easier.
Awesome! And now that we know how to use our imagination, the next step is building English speaking habits that really stick.
All right, Julia. We've learned a lot about training the brain. Now let's talk about one of the most important things: building habits that stick.
Yes, practicing English once in a while isn't enough. Your brain learns best through consistent, daily practice. Small habits repeated over time create lasting results.
Exactly. For example, set a goal to speak English for just 5 minutes every day. It could be describing your morning, talking about your plans, or repeating sentences you've learned.
And make it fun. You can talk to yourself in front of a mirror, record your voice, or even chat with a language app. The key is to make speaking English a regular part of your daily routine.
Another tip is to connect English practice with things you already do. For instance, while cooking, narrate your steps in English. While walking, describe what you see around you in English.
Yes, over time, these small daily habits become natural. Your brain will start thinking and speaking in English automatically without extra effort.
Exactly. Remember, consistency beats intensity. Even 5 to 10 minutes every day is better than one long practice session once a week.
Perfect. And now that we know how to build strong habits, it's time for a short, fun mini practice activity for our listeners.
All right, Julia, it's time for a short mini practice activity for our listeners. This will help you put everything we've talked about into action.
Yes, don't worry, it's very simple. We'll guide you step by step. Let's start with a basic scenario, introducing yourself.
Perfect. First, think in English. Don't translate from your native language. Say, "Hello, my name is Alex. I am from Chicago. I like English speaking."
Now speak it out loud. Repeat it 2 or 3 times and try to say it naturally. Imagine you are talking to a new friend.
Next, try adding one extra sentence about your day. For example, today, I went to the park and saw many birds.
Yes. And if you can, visualize this situation while speaking. Imagine a real park, the birds, the sunshine. It makes your brain practice English naturally.
Exactly. Doing this little exercise daily trains your brain, improves your speaking, and boosts your confidence.
Great. Listeners, remember, practice even a few minutes every day and your brain will start thinking and speaking in English more naturally.
All right, Julia. Now let's talk about some common mistakes learners make when training their brain to speak English.
Yes, the first mistake is focusing too much on grammar at the beginning. Learners often pause every few words to think if the sentence is perfect. This slows down speaking and can cause frustration.
Exactly. The second mistake is skipping listening practice. Some learners try to speak without training their ears first. But listening is the foundation for natural speaking.
Another mistake is expecting instant results. Training your brain takes time. Some learners practice for one day, get frustrated, and give up. Consistency is key.
Yes. And one more common mistake is overloading with too many new words at once. Your brain can only process a few words at a time. It's better to focus on small, useful phrases and sentences.
So the takeaway is, don't rush. Focus on listening and speaking first, and practice consistently with small steps. That's how your brain will learn naturally.
Perfect. Now that we know the mistakes to avoid, let's move on to some motivation and final advice to keep your brain training on track. All right, Julia, before we finish, let's give our listeners some motivation and final advice for training their brain to speak English.
Yes. First, remember that progress takes time. Don't be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Even small daily practice builds your brain's ability to think and speak in English naturally.
Exactly. Celebrate small wins. Did you speak one sentence in English today? That's progress. Did you listen to a short podcast or visualize a conversation? That's progress too.
And keep it fun. Choose topics you enjoy, like talking about your favorite food, music, or hobbies. The more enjoyable your practice, the more likely you'll stick to it.
Finally, stay consistent. 5 minutes every day is better than 1 hour once a week. Your brain will thank you, and soon speaking English will feel natural and easy.
Absolutely. Remember, your brain is like a muscle. Train it daily, and it will grow stronger, faster, and smarter in English. You've got this.
Yes, keep practicing, stay motivated, and never give up. Your English journey is just getting started. And that wraps up today's episode on how to train your brain to speak in English. We hope you found it helpful and that you're ready to start practicing right away.
Yes, remember, training your brain takes small, consistent steps every day. Use listening, thinking in English, shadowing, visualization, and fun daily habits to improve naturally.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss a new English learning podcast.
And we'd love to hear from you. Comment below and tell us which brain training technique you're going to try first. Your experience can inspire other learners too.
Exactly. And if you want more practice activities and tips, check out our other episodes. Every small step you take will bring you closer to speaking English confidently.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Keep training your brain, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode.